Hey everybody, Z with ZandGEmporium. With this week's auction block, we have quite a few items to go through here. Thank you to everybody who submitted. There have been quite a few graded gem submitters who had enormous orders, hundreds of cards who just said, hey, send them all to the auction block. I had one this week who I did it. The capacity had already been reached. About 250 is kind of like my capacity to where I'm able to do that, but also be able to put out a lot of, go to the post office, do a lot of stuff with graded gem as well, sort orders and all that stuff. Talking about graded gem, before we get into it, of course, the first like 5 minutes of these videos, I usually like to update you guys on other things outside of just showing you all these things that'll be on the auction block this week, because I don't really put out any content anymore, but hopefully that'll change, I would hope, in March. Because, that's right around the corner. Now, why can I do that? Because we are really getting caught up. Cam is really crushing it with all the packages that he's sending out. I've been going to the post office so much because there's just so many packages to actually. There's a lot behind me right now that I'm going to be going in a few hours. It's early Saturday morning, so Cam isn't here. I have a lot to do today, Saturday, and then tomorrow is Sunday the Super Bowl, which is, it's weird to see the Bengals in it because I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I moved out in my early 20s. So for 20-something years, I lived with losers, aka the Bengals, aka the Bungles, but all of a sudden their Super Bowl kind of caught me by surprise. So that'll be tomorrow as well. So, and Cam has been working late, all week, and just been crushing it. So, he deserves some some time off to get rested for next week. So I just want to give you guys an update on graded gems, just kind of where we are. Now, when Cam moved here, it's the middle of January of this year, only a few weeks ago, I was about 7 weeks behind, okay, which about the end of November of 2021. So if a package came to the P.O. box at the end of November, I still hadn't gotten to it at the middle of January, which is, unacceptable. That's why I hired Ken. That's why I flew him out in early November, offered him the job. It took him a few months to actually, uproot his life and move here. But now that he's here, he's really crushing it. And, talk about that 7 week delay. Now we are at February 12th, I believe it is today, or maybe when you watch this, February 13th. We are at, right now, January 26 packages. So packages that arrived at the P.O. box on January 26th, we are getting to those right now on February 13th. So we've gone from 7 weeks behind to 2 weeks behind, which is still, in my eyes, not acceptable. I would hope you'd get it within a few days, but it's an extreme improvement, and it should be, barring sickness, barring PSA sending back 10 packages a day submissions from PSA in the next 2 weeks. It should be by the end of February we are completely caught up to where a package arrives at the PO box, we open it, we send out the emails to ask your guys' addresses, to ask your guys' if you have any upcharges from PSA, and send it out within a day or two. So it's going to be awesome. So once we get to that point, that's going to be incredible. It's going to be, I don't even know. I don't know I'm going to celebrate. It's not like Graded Gem is done yet, but to be caught up is just going to be, a huge weight off the shoulders for me and, for you guys, because, you guys have waited 12, 13, 14, whatever months to get back your stuff. You shouldn't have to wait an extra couple weeks. It should be, that day it comes back that you guys get it back. So that's exciting, and then it's also exciting to actually be able to create more content, because I'm not going to be able to have that huge backlog on our shoulders. So I'm hoping in March we can actually get back to that, and that's going to be pretty incredible. You guys can actually be introduced to Cam, not just some guy who occasionally says stuff in the background while he's packaging orders, but it's going to be good. He's going to be a good addition to the Pokemon, whatever you want, a collectible content community. I'm sure we're going to be talking about Pokemon, but there's other things that we like to talk about as well. Video games, the overall just collectible market. Just anything. It's going to be great. So, that's the update there. We're getting to it. Now, if you guys, we still have a lot of stuff, a lot of cards that are just piling up that people just aren't answering emails. Now, guys, we're like this week, I'm not sure if we might have touched a couple of older, but like 95% of the stuff that we touched was November submissions and a few December submissions. So if you had a submission in August 2020, September 2020, even October 2020, there's like a 95% chance. I got to ask, Tom or Connor, the UK guys that actually have the actual, percentages of what's complete. But if I had to guess, August 2020, September 2020, and October of 2020, if you had a submission there, you should probably email James@gradedgem.com, which is where, my email and Cam's email. We both use the same email. He'll sign it, Cam at the bottom, or I'll just sign it, James at the bottom. But if you were one of those months, we probably have your submission because, we're just running through a ton of November submissions and even December of 2020. So if you're one of those three, maybe send an email and just see kind of, I know there's one pesky October that for some reason is still in the grading stage. No clue why. I might have to ask to, Connor to get his PSA content and ask about that one because that's just kind of ridiculous at this point that one's still in grading. But otherwise, I think most are just done. So email, because our email might have gone to spam. There's a good possibility that we have it. But anyway, that is that for this week. For the updates, we're already 6.5 minutes in. Let's get into the actual auction block. And once again, thank you to everybody who has submitted. There's been quite a few. Like I said, the capacity that I have is like 200-ish, 250-ish. I did earlier, months ago, I did like 400, and that was too much. Like, I had to, kind of tell myself what a limit is. So about 250 is a good amount to where I can still focus a ton of my time on Graded Gem, but also, be able to, do this service and be able to get some, revenue to, honestly, to be able to pay Cam. But there we go. So here we have Allie. You are up now. Allie is our resident. He's got a ton of graded packs as well as, or not graded packs, just packs. But we're going to go through what he has on auction this week. I believe all 5 of these Movie 2000 will be the same one. Now, Allie sent in, I sent in for Allie 30. Remember we showed that on an earlier video. Is that 30 CGC cards, CGC 8.5, CGC 9, CGC 9.5s, 2 PSA to get an attempt at a cross, which if you guys don't know, cross means you send in a PSA, you say, hey, can this cross to like a PSA 9 or a PSA 10? And it's going to cost the same amount, even if you don't get the grade. So that's just kind of the downside. But at the other time, it could be a pretty big payoff if it does. This next one is for Jacob. He's got quite a few PSA graded packs. So that'll probably be our first introduction to newer content to you guys, because I would say that'll be back probably at, barring any huge delays of PSA, maybe the beginning of March, something like that, maybe middle of March at latest. And that's really when I think we're going to be caught up with Graded Gem and be able to actually start putting out more interesting stuff. Because this stuff's fine, but let's be serious. We like to be, upfront, transparent with you guys. This is not the most riveting content, right? But so I want to get some more stuff out to you guys that'll be able to, be interesting. So here we have Jacob's submission. So he has, look at that, a 20th anniversary CP6 pack, Gem Mint 10. But yeah, Allie had those sent in, and they are at PSA. They showed they have been entered into the system, but they are not in the grading stage yet. There's some PSA 10 base set 2 packs. So once they get actually into the grading stage, that'll be exciting, and then see. We'll probably just reveal it. We'll probably open the pack box and look at the inside and just see how many CGC cards are still in there, because if they don't meet a minimum grade, they will keep it in the CGC case. So, I guess worst case scenario, you open it and they're all still CGC cases and none of them cross and they're out the grading fee. But, I don't see that happening because a lot of the minimum grades I put as a PSA equivalent. So, in other words, if it was a CGC 9, I put a minimum grade of a PSA 9. And that should be, and they looked really clean, so that should be relatively easy. And, that would really go against the theory about everybody saying, oh, CGC easily crosses to PSA. Well, if a CGC 9, and all these are like really, really mint card. I mean, really, really nice cards. So if all these CGC 9s don't even cross to a PSA 9, that's going to be it's going to be quite disappointing, but it's going to be interesting to see. All right, so this is for Luke. He had some PSA graded packs as well. We had, two people in a row had some PSA graded packs. Now, Luke also was a Graded Gem customer, and he also sent in quite a few cards that he just got back his submission and send it onto the auction block. So these were not, we did not grade packs over here. Over here at the Graded Gem in the US. I believe the UK guys did grade packs. Did they grade packs? I want to say they did, but we did not. So that was not part of it, but these were. So we're just going to go through these and look them up. So as we go through these cards, as you can tell, they're not the greatest grades for these. I think Luke also had quite a few Yu-Gi-Oh! And those Yu-Gi-Oh! Actually did, I think, much better. We'll have to look at those as well. But these WotC were a little bit of a low grade. So if you're looking for lower grade WotC to be able to put in your collection, here we go. But yeah, we also had quite a few relistings this week from last week. It was very disappointing. Usually there's 10, 15 items, out of 250, 200-ish that actually have to be relisted every week, just because that's just the way it is. People just don't. Let me just put this light, put a little better lighting here. PSA just, or not PSA, eBay, just these people just like to bid and they just don't like to pay. And that's just the way it is. But this week there was a particular guy who I did ban, and he did get all the unpaid strikes against his account. And he actually had a pretty decent sized account. I kept emailing him or kept messaging him on eBay and just kept saying, hey, you need to pay because, if you don't, then I need to cancel this and I need to relist all these things. It's going to take a long time. And, he had good feedback. It's not like he was zero feedback, so it was kind of, it's like, I still had hope that he was going to pay, but he never did. He said he was, and they didn't, and then they said he was the next night, and they didn't, and they said he was the next night, and they didn't, and finally it's like, okay, I have to cancel these, and I have to relist it, because you're just lying to me. Now, this guy actually won 31 cards. Yes, 31 cards this guy won. I believe he had, I can't remember how much feedback he had. I want to say he had a few hundred. But he did pay, so I had to relist 31 cards this week just from a single guy. So that was very, very frustrating. Added on to 15-ish that usually don't pay 250. So you're having 40 to 50 cards that I had to relist, which is that's very frustrating, and I get that for the customers. I like to pay out. We do this. We list these on Sundays. If you guys are interested in the service, basically what happens is that I get your stuff from the P.O. Box, Gem Mint 10 right there, first edition, Primal Origin. I get your guys' stuff, to the P.O. Box. Usually by Wednesday it has to hit to be able to get on the Sunday, just because I have, kind of this process to where, if you get it back Thursday, maybe if I can get it into the actual auction block, but usually Thursday, it's just too late because I already have process where I have to be listing in those scanned and actually make the video and blah blah blah. But once they're listed on Sunday, they go for 7 days, and then once they end, I pay out on the following Wednesday. So if it ends Sunday, I give 3 days for people to pay, for me to ship, for me to actually put all the numbers on a spreadsheet. Most people don't actually ask for the spreadsheet. I just send them the money, and they're like, all right, thanks. But some people actually, want the spreadsheet, which is fine. I make a spreadsheet for every single person who submits. If you want to use it for taxes, if you just want to compare it to your notes, if you just want to see what number I'm paying you, that's totally fine. I keep a record of everything. Invasion of Chaos First Edition. Isn't that a good one? Blackluster Soldier, PSA 8. But yeah, so I pay out on Wednesday. So it's very disappointing when Wednesday comes and I pay out people and people are like, oh, well, that's a lot less than I anticipated. It's like, yeah, well, one guy didn't pay 31 items, and then we had the usual, so that was pretty disappointing, because I like to I like to get to the point where Wednesday comes and I pay out and every single person paid and everything's all good. Look at that. A Metal Raiders first edition PSA 10. Very nice. Another Magic Ruler first edition PSA 9. As you can tell, I think the Yu-Gi-Oh was a little better submission on Luke's end. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of the process there. It's kind of crazy. I hear people that submit to Golden or Heritage or they kind of these other or PWCC even, and they have to wait a while for their stuff to get listed. And then once it's listed, these places don't pay out for sometimes like a month. I've heard some people say like it took like 38 days, 40 days once the auction ends for them to get their money. That's just insane to me. Like, why are they holding on to your money? Like, that just shouldn't happen. It's not like, these people are making a ton of money with these big auction houses, so they should have enough staff to be able to pay out, right? So I really don't understand why it takes so long for these places to actually pay out your money. But we pay out on Wednesdays, like I've said. But this week was disappointing because a lot of people were a little less than they anticipated because just a lot of people didn't pay. But there you go. All right, next up, we'll do this short submission. This is Cam. He just threw some on his desk. He's like, hey, can you sell these? And I said, hey, I guess so. I guess you're taking away my time from other No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, he had a few of these cards here. A PSA 9 Ancient Mew, and then a PSA 9 Kangaskhan Japanese promo, gym promo from 2019. So just a few cards. So we just threw them in there. I had a few cards as well. I had a Mario Pikachu. If you guys want to check out my eBay, I bet it's a buy it now, but it's I think for $6,150 right now. A complete sequential set of Mario Pikachu. I did at auction. I did that sequential set. And it sold for $6,700 all four, but so I listed it way lower because I had a pretty low buy-in point. So yeah, if anybody is interested, you can check it out there. Okay, so now we have Wow, why can I not read this? Okay, I know who this is actually because, but I only know him by. Hold on, I'm gonna look over here. Hold on. Anyway, I'm just gonna name you Ola. Ola, you know who you are. He's actually in Discord. I usually I'm just blanking on your first name, Ola. I know who he is from the Discord, and he's done quite a few business here. But for some reason, it's early in the morning. I'm just blanking on your first name. But here we go. We have a damaged case. This is a PSA 10. Oh, I believe it's Jose. Isn't it Jose? Yeah, I believe it's Jose. It's really early, Jose, aka Ola. You know who you are. But here we go. He submitted. He's like, do you do damage case? I'm like, yeah, I can do it. I just put it in the actual title. So here we have a Jolteon first edition. PSA 10, non-hollow, but as you can tell, there's a damaged case. So it's kind of broken off piece there. So I will put that in the title as damaged case. Somebody can just take, it's not like crack on the front. You really, if you want to display it, you really don't notice it, but there you go. It's not going to affect the card in there. So here we go, Raichu. And then we have a Venusaur Shadowless PSA 8. A Blastoise Shadowless PSA 8. Two pretty big heavy hitter cards. Oh, and then not to be outdone, a Gold Star Mew PSA 8. Yeah, now that I think about it, it's definitely Jose. So sorry about that, Ola. It's early in the morning, and I just wrote your Discord name on there. Scyther First Edition, Jungle PSA 9, and then a PSA 10 Nidoking right there. Very, very nice. Actually, those Shadowless cards, I think you said that you had those for like a decade. Like you have held on to it, so that's pretty impressive. Raichu GX, and then we have a couple CGC cards. Modern card from Sword Shield, Professor's Research, and then a Gold Star Alakazam 4.5, an EX Crystal Guardian. So, there we have that. That boundaries crossed. I don't think I actually said that. I was trying to remember the name right there. And then we have a Fossil Unlimited Booster Pack. Brandon, you are up next. You just have 3 packs. Jungle Art Set First Edition. And then Shaq, aka Shaquille, aka he submitted quite a few other cards from his Graded Gem sub. But those will be, we'll do a portion of those next week. But this is just this week. Oh, just a first edition Lugia Near Mint. Very nice. He had a big submission that he put on, I think, most of the cards, if not all of them. He's submitting to get sent off to be on the auction block. But here's just the first few. I believe this was maybe a faster submission or a different submission. Fire Red Leaf Green 7, base set 2. Here's some mid-grade WotC if you guys are interested in that. Base set 2, and then finish it off with a mint with a nice little swirl there. Oh, that's like a long swirl. PSA 9 Dark Charizard from the Japanese Team Rocket. All right, Andrea, you are up next. So Andrea has a few. We have a PSA 6 Cora, and then a base set right there. A base set Japanese Charizard, PSA 8. Pretty, honestly, I looked at this card. It's pretty clean and has a little bit of whitening there, but it's a pretty strong looking 8. Well centered, which is like a kind of a plague of Japanese cards. PSA 3 Charizard, a Masaki Gengar, PSA 8. Very nice grade for that card. And then another Japanese Charizard, but this one came in at a PSA 5, which I was looking at the back. This back is looking super, like really pretty nice. So what it tells me is that there's probably a crease or something somewhere on this card. But there you go. There you go to Andrea. 2 more. Austin. Here we go. So Austin will have a PSA 10 of the Charizard and Reshiram, and there are PSA 10 and 9 will be in one listing. So if you want 2 of those cards, there you go. And then a PSA 10 Charizard GX, and then there will be another listing that will have a PSA 10, a PSA 9, and a PSA 8 in the single auction block. So there you go for Austin. And then last but not least, boy, I need to like write these sticky notes better. Christian, that's who it is on these, so that I'm able to actually read it. You know, maybe when we get caught up with Graded Gem, I can do a little bit more professional. Maybe I'll do a printout instead of a sticky note. All right, so we start off with a Blaine's Charizard. So Christian was also a Graded Gem customer. So all these were just, returned, and he's like, just send them off to the auction block. So it's like, all right, well, here we go. So here's what your your senior cards for the first time right here. I mean, we sent your grades a Sudowoodo, Hidden Fates, PSA 10, very nice. Senior cards here back from PSA for the first time, which is, this is probably a pretty nice service. I'm not trying to sell it upsell here, but the people there are a lot of people who submitted cards, right, who these aren't for their personal collection, right? These were total, flips. These were total, hey, I'm getting the grading fee. I want to, take maybe a few cards out of it for my personal collection, but most of them are just going to actually be sold, and then I can take the money, and that money will have paid for my grading fees and will have paid for the cards that I actually wanted. Which that's how a lot of people, guys, a lot of these early people, you might talk about SM Pratt or TCA Gaming, or a lot of these people have been in the hobby for a long time. This is pretty much what this is a lot of what they did was they bought collections. They kept the cards they really liked, and they, sold the rest. And that's how I did it. That's how a lot of people did it, right? Now, eventually, I ended up I usually kept a whole lot of PSA 9 first edition, but then I sold it because, I wanted to keep leveling up, so to say, and get rarer and rarer items. One day I'll show you guys kind of what's in my actual collection and kind of what my goal is on that one. But once again, that's for when we get caught up to a point to where there's nothing at the P.O. box, right? We've caught up with everything there. But yeah, that's so a lot of these people who have, and like this week especially, there have been quite a few people who have sent in. I mean, behind me, there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cards that people want listed that they just kind of took. I mean, one guy took like 5 cards, or Luke, right, who we just saw, who had a ton of those Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I believe he took 5 or 6 cards out of it, sent those back. Those are the ones he wanted to keep for his personal collection. The rest went to the auction block. Shaq, who we just saw, he had, I'm not sure if we sent back any. We might have sent back a few, but the rest of them just go to the auction block because, doesn't want to, deal with listing himself. And, that was the whole goal at the beginning was, hey, guys, when you submitted these, the grading fee was like, if you submitted over 200 cards, it was $8.99, I believe, at that time. So, what's the cheapest you can get at PSA right now? It's $50 a card. And those are events, right, where you have to sign up and get in line, a queue, and they only release 5 at a time. So, yeah, I don't really know where I was going with that, but yeah, I'm glad people are being able to use the service. Anyway, that's all we have for today. Thank you to everybody who has submitted. We have a lot still behind me that I'm going to break open the next few weeks, and hopefully I'm targeting the end of February. March 1st is where, we'll get to a point where we'll be completely caught up. But, there's a lot of stuff that happens in life, who knows, but that's the goal. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.